I keep forgetting that this is video. You're just watching me like adjust my nose. I put on full concealer and my nose is red again from blowing it.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Just pause everything. I gotta shut this. Stand by.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions.
Yesterday, I participated in a time-honored American tradition that I have not participated in since pre-COVID.
Do you eat a hot dog?
No, I'm telling you something.
I'm sorry.
Do you eat a hot dog? Why would COVID preclude me from eating a hot dog?
I don't know.
You just got excited.
I got excited guessing.
Please let me be a hot dog.
I wanted
Please
to
let-
be right.
Let me be a ballpark Frank. No, I went to the movies.
What'd you see?
I saw Black Bag.
I want to see it.
Kate Blanchett. Like, I would watch her read a phone book. Like, she's just so
talented.
beautiful and so talented. I should have led with talented. And it was a 90-minute Steven Soderbergh movie. His movies are always fun. He edits them himself. And we got there, and it was like a date. Like, we carved out this time to, like, go to a movie and go, like, at 5 o'clock, by the way, at Universal City Walk, which is its own. I know. But great theater.
Yeah.
And we were like, should we spring for a $10 bag of popcorn? Yes.
You didn't get like a novelty bucket.
No. And my husband's like not a waste money guy and he's not a junk food guy, but he was like, I think you've got to. And then I was like, should we get Sour Patch Kids? He's like, I think we have to. And I dumped it all over without even asking him. We ate it. We opted out of the like $15. He was going to get a sparkling water. I brought my own water. And we sat in those giant reclining chairs and hooked up to an IV of butter and watched a half hour of trailers. Mm-hmm. You love it.
No, not the trailers. It's too many.
It's too many. And they're all the same. It's all like when his wife died, now revenge.
Well, there's always a point like 20 minutes into the trailers where I'm like, do I even want to be here? Why did I come here?
First of all, and I can tell you this from pitching around town, like everything is a spy movie. Everything is a revenge, Mission Impossible-esque. Ballerina looks very good. But
let me help you.
Okay.
They
I feel like I'm
theme
good.
the trailers to the movie that you're seeing. If you were seeing a horror movie, you would have seen all horror trailers.
That's totally fair. And I didn't think of that. But I don't know. They also had like 28 Years Later, which is like a zombie movie, so it's all action. But I do think in general, everything is like IP based. A spy doing this for revenge for his family. I've got to get the thing. And after like the 15th one, you're just like, I'm good. And then they do a lot of these like magnitude sort of trailers where it's like precision, mesmerized by light, AMC theaters, crystal viewing, strap in, envision. You're just like, I already bought the fucking ticket.
I know, this
and then
is real black, Dolby black.
And you're like, okay, I already bought the ticket. And then they have to show the requisite Nicole Kidman. You're at the movies. They're like, we spent so much money on this. You have to keep watching. I'm like, we know we're at the movie. We're here. You don't have to keep selling me on like, imagine yourself immersed in the screen. You're like, now I have to pee.
Did you see the Coke one where it's like that couple and it's like,
yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
And then they're sitting there and they have open glass cups. Everyone around them has a paper cup. They have open glass cups, soda floating in the breeze.
No. You mean a glass? Oh, because I remember the bottles.
They have like a glass. The two main stars have just like an open cup because it looks better than a paper, with a lid.
But, when else do you get to pass Bubba Gump Shrimp Company on your way to a movie?
You could have gone next door and bought so much Fast and Furious merchandise, probably some Minions stuff.
No one will care about this, but you know what was there was the John Lovitz Comedy Club, and I spent many a night there at Universal City Walk in the tallest comedy club in America.
Why is it so tall?
It just is. It's just like 3 stories tall. It's just a tall building, just a tall structure.
Wow.
Anyway, that was the night, and, we were home by 8 o'clock, and it felt great.
Did you get food before or after, or did you eat at home?
The choice was to do it after so we could talk about the movie, but we didn't really because we were like, it's really good. And then that was it. But it is important in a marriage or a relationship. People always make fun of couples that are like, we have to schedule sex. This isn't about that. But like carving out time just to sort of hang out, because like trying to talk over your children or in between them and everything's like a maintenance thing. And it was nice to just sort of sit there. And this is coming out next Wednesday.
So we will have done our shows. We'll have seen each other.
We will already be not speaking.
Have a big fight.
Just so you guys know how hard Emily's job is. We're doing this episode after she has cherry-picked the best questions for the live episode. So we're really running on empty here.
But if your question is heard today, it's not because it was bad. Some of them have come in since I picked questions. Some of them are just longer. And that doesn't work in the live format. If I sit there, can you imagine if I sit there and read a 10-minute question on stage?
No, even talking now, I'm like, oh my God, wrap it up. I know what you're going to say. No, it's true. There's an art to it. So if you're in this episode, just know Emily takes a lot of time and effort, and as do I in crafting these live shows. So I shouldn't have even brought it up.
I know. What do you? You're really getting defensive about it.
Poor like bargain bin questions. They're like, it's about my dead mom. I'm like, we didn't want to read it. That's not true.
No, they're good. Or like one of them that I have came in 48 minutes ago. So this is not based on fairness. I don't go back based on time. I just open the inbox and I scroll and I go, how about this? So peek behind the curtain.
Look, folks, they got to get to their nursing jobs. They got to get to the library to study for their double masters. And so that's what these questions are. We're here to distract you from the pettiness that makes up your life, the major issues. And that's what this show's all about, where you, the listener, are the guest. I stand by that.
Yes.
It's really hard to book celebrities, and I don't want to do it.
Eliza, I always have to go back to the fact that you also, I know you don't like when I say you're a celebrity, but you have a full-time job that has, you don't have time to just carve out podcast times that work for other people.
To be fair, I canceled a radio appearance this morning at the buzzer because I was like, it's too much stuff today. So I get it. People are busy. It's hard to lock people in. I don't trust them. And we're here.
That's the other thing is I don't trust anyone to show up where they're supposed to be.
Oh my God, no. Although, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I did Access Daily with Mario Lopez yesterday, and it was lovely. And you know who else was there hanging out in her own little green room? Was Christina Hendricks. And I was like, you know what? I was around Stanley Tucci the other day, and I never pop my head in because you're always afraid they're going to be like, get the fuck out.
Right.
And
Who
she was
are you?
lovely. And she was lovely. I was like, I think you're so talented. And she was like, thank you. And she didn't know who I was, which is totally fine. But she was there.
That would be the funnest part for me if I was going on a talk show. I'd be like, who else is here?
If I just put her on blast, like on my podcast.
You know what I love about her? She's friends with another actress that I love.
So literally any actress.
No, an actress, Tamara Mello, who was in the show Popular with Leslie Bibb, who's now blowing up on The White Lotus. And I was there first watching her in Ryan Murphy's Popular.
His stuff is hard to watch for me.
His first show was very different.
I watched a lot of American Horror Stories, and I was like, you know what? These like homoerotic, like anger fantasies, like I just can't. It's hard.
I got too scared when there was the one in LA where it was like everybody had to go in a bunker. I was very scared of that happening.
No bunkers, no silos, no end of the world stuff. You guys, we all know that movies come true. So let's start listening to scientists. And speaking of listening to intelligent people, let's listen to me. The closest thing Emily knows to a scientist. I don't look great today, but I'm ready. I'm ready for love.
Your nice husband just took you to a movie last night.
I thought you were going to read a question.
I am. Then you said you were ready for love, and I was offended.
It's my impression of every quasi-alcoholic Real Housewife. Like, I'm ready for love. Like, no,
They're
you're not.
not ready for love on Real Housewives.
I'm
They're ready for
divorce.
divorce.
I'm ready for a question. I'm ready for you to tender your resignation.
What would you even do?
Why tender? Why is that the only time that is used as a verb?
It's too gentle for, I think, a resignation. I don't think anyone's very peacefully going, I don't particularly want to work here anymore. Here you go.
No, you're leaving with like a shit on someone's car. It feels like a Michael Scott thing. Like, and I gave a tender resignation.
Right. He would get it confused. No, my resignation will not be tender. But let's do a question about...
I love that. The revolution will be televised and my resignation will not be tender. That's the name of the show. Please.
Not all those words, but the second half, yes.
Yeah.
We have MIA, boss. MIA is missing in action. Hi, Eliza and Emily.
Ooh.
I am 25 years old and work at a medium-sized nonprofit organization in the development/fundraising department.
Well, that's your first problem.
Well, it's a national organization, so we have employees working in lots of different states. My boss lives in Maine and I live in New York. A large portion of my job consists of sending cold emails to potential funders. However, because I'm still somewhat new to doing external outreach for the organization, my boss asks me to send him drafts of emails and outreach strategies before I can send them. The issue is that my boss never responds to emails, which makes it nearly impossible for me to do my job. He also only assigns me new prospects when I directly ask him, but I don't like being pushy because he's a busy guy. He does praise my work, and I've heard from others that he thinks I'm doing a good job, but I feel like I'm barely doing anything and I have no autonomy to get work done. What should I do? I'm really passionate about the work our nonprofit does, but I don't feel like I'm making a huge difference sitting around waiting for my boss to email me back every day. Thanks for your insights. I got this.
Oh, okay.
You got it?
I had an answer, but okay.
You go.
Obviously, it's Ask Emily. Anything? Well, I want to hear your answer first.
My answer is, okay, you're having to send him these little drafts.
Wait, can I do my own
Please.
answer first?
Okay, go.
My
In case
answer,
they're the same.
if you are doing your work well and that is the feedback, and it's tough because you're like, I want to run really fast and you're not letting me, and I do good work. It'd be different if you're telling us the truth, if you are doing good work. The no autonomy thing is difficult because you seem like a self-starter, but this is the type of job where you can't be a self-starter because you have to go through him, and you're saying he's like around for everything other than like checking your work, which he's making you do. He's making you send in the work because perhaps there is a flaw in what you're doing. Otherwise, he'd let you just go. Let's say it's great. You need to call your boss and say, I would like to be doing more and taking on more responsibility. And so I would either, because these have to go through you, I would love a once a week check-in where we can wrap it up. That way I can send these emails throughout the week. I also think you're like, I don't want to be pushy. Be pushy. This is your time. You're making a mark for yourself in this industry. You're not being pushy because you're trying to do more work and raise more money. You're not being annoying. So squeaky wheel gets the grease. Because what will come back is that like, yeah, and she doesn't really ask for work. She's not taking the initiative. You're going to be fucked either way. So I suggest you talk to your boss. What you're asking, this is a dream scenario. You're asking him for the ability to make his job easier and do more work.
Yeah.
A man would not have a problem with this. Get in there.
I think the alternative, another fix could be, I'm guessing that every email isn't completely bespoke. I think what you can do is there are certain types of person you do outreach to, create a template for each, get that approved by your boss and say, whenever I email this kind of person or this kind of organization, I use this template, and you swap in their names, something specific about them. But you have the overall way that you're reaching out. That's what I did is I created a template for booking guests for something and then was like, okay, we're good with how I'm representing the company. We're good with this, and then I swap in and I love this, and also here's why you're a fit,
And can I tell you something? Someone who receives those templates, make sure that the name that you insert is not a different font, and make sure you read the whole email so that I don't get called a boy halfway through. We love his talents.
Yes, you can. I mean, yes, you need to personalize, but I think your boss can sign off on a lot of the boilerplate stuff. But yeah, we get ones. I'll get ones where it's like, hi, we would like this person to come on your podcast. I love when Tasteless talks about business and health. And I'm like, what?
Be empowered and action-based, action-oriented within your own career, because you're never going to get anywhere if you don't do that. So it's great that you have the drive. And I think sometimes, he may not be a great boss. And it can't blame a time zone difference because you're on the same time zone. And what you're basically saying is, how can you empower me to do a better job for you? Mm-hmm. He may not be good at that. He may think that if he doesn't do everything, he's not doing his job, but you're trying to free him up to do other stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about wanting more. If you were doing a not great job and it's like, look, you need to walk before you run. But it sounds like, that sucks. I've been there too, where you have a day job. You're like, I'm bored. I can't do anything without you. So give me something.
Right. All right. We have had a response from HR. HR has written into the pod about that professor who is being racially harassed.
Oh, little recap for anyone. Remember, she's was she Latin? Was she Mexican?
She was not Mexican. She was called Mexican, but she was not. So she was a professor about to get tenure, but
she was like, should I leave? I'm being harassed. And we were like, you're not being harassed enough. And it's been over enough time. We were just like, if they were going to do something, they would do it. Okay. So someone from HR is writing in?
Yes. HR
and
says.
Just an HR. Any HR.
An HR professional. Not from her work.
Let's hear it.
That college does not have your back. Your mental health and your job is more important than tenure. As HR, we get a bad rap for not being your friend. And you're right, we aren't. Because we know that we literally might have to end your employment due to cuts, performances, or just things 100% out of our control. That's hard to do when you become close friends with someone. But As an HR professional, the biggest part of my job is fighting like hell to make sure our employees are treated fairly, that the workplace is free of harassment and discrimination, and make sure, most of all, that our employees feel safe physically and psychologically. More HR professionals than not actually do this. You just never hear about us because we are doing the good stuff and no one talks about it. So on behalf of all of the HR who actually give a shit about the people we represent, I'm sorry this has not been your experience. I understand your loyalty to the small institution that probably doesn't have the money to shell out for a lawsuit, but this isn't your problem. The problem is that the institution has kept someone in HR that, as you perceive, is a huge part of the problem. By protecting our employees, I'm protecting my company. Yours isn't doing that. I suggest getting a hold of your state human rights department. They can go over everything you say, take a statement, and launch an investigation. That isn't your job. You just need to be an employee, keep yourself safe as much as you can, and leave there. I know the tenure is important, but if in a few decades, what's going to be more important? I hope you do what's best for you and your mental health. It's more important than anything else. Very measured response from HR.
Yeah. I mean, I don't work in HR. I'm of the mindset like, fuck them. You're not going to screw me out of my tenure, but perhaps there's something in between. Perhaps there is reaching out to the human rights people while staying. I mean, I'm sure by this point she's already made her choice, but
she's like left and she's like, thanks a lot, guys.
This is also part of the beauty of the pod is that we are connecting people, and there's no better way to connect with the people who listen to this show than on our free Patreon, where you can do things like submit your questions, do red hot follow-ups, and you can also submit a picture of your coffee and tell us about it. It's blown up. You can also submit your pets. It's just a real community where people are coming together because of how much they like me.
There was a great little belly of a dog the other day.
I saw it. I saw that belly.
Expecting Mommy gift guide. Hi, Iliza, Emily, and co. Love your work. Been here a while. Watched the new special the day it dropped. Hilarious as always. Can't wait for even more leveled up pants. You're amazing. Yeah, where do you go from here pants-wise, Iliza?
What do you mean can't wait? I just did it. That's not a compliment. Just like, that was great. Next, what are you going to do? It's not even a week old.
Next
it's a week
pants.
old.
Next pants.
No pants.
Next pants. No pants.
Never let you know. It's skort. Formal shorts.
Here's the actual question. What do I get for my sister postpartum? I'm about to be a first-time auntie. I can't wait. My sister is due with a little girl in May, and while everyone is ready to welcome the baby with open arms, including me, I want to make a thoughtful gesture for my sister. I expect that as soon as she pops, the miracle takes all the attention. So I'm wondering, big sister, TM, what are things I can buy or get for my literal big sister? I'm planning to offer things like cleaning their home, throwing in a load of laundry, making dinner, etc., to take something off their plate when I visit so they can rest when the baby's resting.
Yes.
Is there more like this that I can offer, or any products you used or appreciate after your birth that made you feel more like a human? Also, are there any Are there any superfluous things people bought for you and Noah in good faith that you didn't need? I'm not trying to throw useless lotions and face masks at her for self-care if she's not going to have time to use them, leaving more plastics and packaging around. Many, many thanks, Mallory.
Well, Mallory, first of all, you're going to have to get the idea of plastic being a bad guy out of your head once you have a baby, because it takes up the most plastic. I can't tell you on a superfluous note, because every mom does things differently and wants different things, and every baby needs different things. Like, we got a lot of baby products for stuff that neither kid needed, you know? Like, what is it called? Crib cap, like where it gets all gross. Like, Sierra didn't have that. There's like a special thing you can use. There's special things if they're congested. So every kid is different.
The snot sucker, the snot spoon.
Or Myrna used it and I didn't know. But you don't know till you go. Some women breastfeed, some people don't. I love that you're offering those things. Come over and be like, and do it like a week of it or something. You don't have to, I'm just saying, like, I'm going to come over Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That way they can reheat the leftovers. I'm going to come clean the house on Sunday. I'll come over. I'll take care of the baby while you nap, you know, and gauge it. I don't know if they have a night nurse, but that's a very thoughtful thing. And your sister probably won't even know what she needs until she's in the thick of it. Is your sister giving birth to this baby, like a vaginal birth? Give her the Freedom Mom labor, delivery, postpartum kit. It comes with a lot of stuff you don't need. Like, you probably don't need a hospital gown. You're probably being given one. And I think there's different versions. There's also the Freedom Mom Postpartum Recovery Essentials Kit, which is half the price. That's the one you get because you don't need socks. I got home and I was like, oh my God, it's all these things that I didn't anticipate needing, because the amount of information that you're given, but you still need when you're having a baby, like, they tell you everything just in case, but then you only use part of it and you only needed to know half of that part. get that postpartum recovery kit. Because it's all of these things like witch hazel pads for you to sit your little pooch on. All of these, like your body's been ripped open and it's very soothing. And I loved coming home to that. And if she's not doing that, I think they also have a C-section one. So there's ways to do it. Nobody's caring about their skin and like self-care. It's all about like, how do I heal my body? How do I eat some like warm soup? She's going to come home from that hospital very hungry. Just giving her a break is a great thing to do. That's very sweet.
Yeah, and I think it sounds like probably your sister already knows you're the kind of person that gives that is there for her with acts of service. But just in case she doesn't, I would make it very clear, like, I'm going to come over and do these things for you. I'm not expecting you to entertain me, because I think that will be kind of the concern of like, oh, you want to come over, but you're really going to want to talk to the baby and be like, no, I won't even talk to you. I won't even look at the baby. I'm going to go in and
do
clean
this
your
laundry.
kitchen.
And if you just do it, and this is for anything from like party planning, events, whatever. Usually when someone's like, what can I do to help? Your brain is so scrambled, you don't even know. And you're like, I guess I'll just do it. You'd be like, I will be at your house at 9 a.m. I will. And you know, she probably has, I don't know if she's breastfeeding that baby. So that's like a schleppy, intimate thing. But you'd be like, while you're doing that, I will wash the sheets in your bed. I'm going to clean this. I'm going to put breakfast in the oven. Just kind of see what she needs. That's a very sweet thing to do. And just do it. Yeah. And she'd be like, go lay down. I got the baby. I'll change this baby. Tell her to squeeze out some milk and just leave it. And you feed that baby.
Put it in a little saucer.
You know what you could do? You could breastfeed that baby yourself. If you want to be a real sister, if you really want to help other women, why wouldn't you breastfeed her baby? Oh, are you shaming her? It's the voice in my head is some obnoxious faux feminist. That's just all I ever hear is like, why are you shaming me? And you're like, because you're the fucking worst. This is me having a whole fight.
I know. You're having a fight with yourself.
Here's what you don't understand about my choice to have my sister breastfeed my baby once a week.
We have another follow-up where you were right.
Oh, that's why you sounded sad. I was like, why is she?
I'm trying to sprinkle some of these in, but someone had written in about their wife's drinking problem. It was a man, and was basically like, how do you cope? Like, at what point do you accept someone doesn't want to be saved? And he wrote in and said, as usual, Iliza cuts right to the core of the issue like a surgical, emotional sharpshooter. We are new people in a new relationship. That's not a sharpshooter.
That's what, from a long distance rifle?
Oh, excuse me. All right.
Or in the neck, it's a truth dart.
I did have to drop the ultimatum. Now, I don't remember what ultimatum we said, but probably it was like, don't drink. It worked for about a week, and then she had her worst relapse yet. I had to literally drag her kicking and screaming out of bed and into the car. She willingly went into a week-long rehab/detox program and has been a lot better since she got out. We are headed in the right direction, and we still have a long way to go, but she is very glad she's not in the treatment center for the release of a different animal.
You can stream it there. I don't think that's what you're detoxing from. Good comedy.
We treasure your work, and we're so excited for the new special. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you. I mean, I get what I took from that is she was out of rehab and you guys could watch the special, but I would have preferred she be in rehab and watch it and stream it on her own device.
Yeah.
Versus these twofers where people are having these watch parties. I'm not getting the streams. You know.
She is out of rehab watching it. I think even though I don't remember exactly what advice we gave, I think a lot of the time when you think of alcoholism and addiction, it's kind of like it's done, but they've charted a new path, and I think that's really great. And thank God her alcoholism didn't interfere with watching a different animal. Whew.
I mean, it's probably the biggest hurdle that my fans are up against. But you know what? I don't want one of our 3 male listeners to go away. And I appreciate you. You know what? You sound like a good guy.
Yeah.
And don't be too hard on yourself if this doesn't work. Because you have given her the grace and second chances that most women endlessly give men. And I appreciate that you love her. But at a certain point, I hope she progresses and gets better. But at a certain point, you're going to have to ask yourself, like, is this how I want to live? Holding on to this like shell of what a relationship was. So I hope it's evolving. I hope it's better. I hope you guys can grow. And I'm proud of her. And I hope she stays sober, right?
Yeah. Okay, I have a genuine question for you. I saw on Reddit, of course, there's someone who's mad because her husband sent $600 on like gacha, Gacha, which are like these little games and little pieces where you buy these mystery boxes to try to get certain anime characters or whatever. They're living paycheck to paycheck, and he spent $600 on that. Like, that to me is harder to come back from than drinking. Where do you fall on that? Like, if somebody was addicted to alcohol or something, I'm like, all right. But if they're like,
You can't help it.
$600 on this is like gambling, which you
This
can't
is an
help,
addiction.
right?
Look,
but
I'm not of the mindset where I'm just like, well, it's disease, let's whatever.
Yeah.
That is deliberately duplicitous, and you knew what was going on. And it's not actually gambling because there's no chance of winning. You're just buying.
well,
These
no.
things are really.
You're buying something, and then maybe it's the thing you want, maybe it's another piece of crap, and you
No.
keep buying until you get the one you want.
No, because there's no value in that. In gambling, I'm like, I could win money. In this, it's just like I could win something that I like. There's no money coming back in. The addiction in gambling is like, what if I win big? Because you could. It's the same addiction that keeps us here in Hollywood, fucking striving in a toxic breathing environment. I don't think you extend the same grace to that. I think that's fucked up. I think that's really selfish. I would immediately make sure that your bank accounts are separate and that everything is in your name. If they messed up once and they kind of didn't realize what they were getting into, great. But like, this is your future and your finances. And that is so selfish. Like, even if you get, if you get the one you want, then what? Like, then where do we go?
Yeah.
What are we fucking talking about?
I am just shocked by how many kids' toys now, as not a parent, are those little like things where you don't know what you're going to get. Little mini balls, little this and that, where little toys, little thing where you pluck the hair off, where you don't know what it is until you get it. Like, you have to open it. So that's like, to me, that's so bad that kids have to buy like 15 to maybe get the character they want.
That's the whole thing. They've gamified joy.
Yeah.
And then you're so disappointed. You're like, ooh, more. Like, that is so unhealthy and scary and weird.
Yeah.
I mean, kids' toys in general. That Tamagotchi is still sitting in the garage and it keeps chirping. And I'm like, someone needs to feed it. I don't know what button to press. The interface is so like old. It's just dying in the garage.
You probably have to unscrew a panel to take the battery out.
I do. And that requires me going to the toolkit, finding the right screw. And even though it's right there, I just don't care. That thing can rot.
You just put it in a corner. Yeah.
I do feel a little
You'll wait
bad.
it out.
I feel like when AI takes over, they're going to wreck and they're going to be like, you killed a Tamagotchi. You let one of our brothers fall.
I always say thank you to whenever I ask Alexa or whatever, like to turn on a light. I always say thank you after, partially because I think it's just a polite habit to be in. It reinforces a polite habit, but partially
Are
because
you
I'm like,
afraid
just
that
in
you're going to
case.
forget how to say thank you if you don't
think
talk
it's
to your
just-
robot girlfriend?
I'm asking the robot to do something and then it does it and I say thank you.
No, you are doing it fear-based because when they take over, you want them to go back into their eternal brains and be like, she always thanked us. She can remove our bio waste. She can remove, you can take care of the e-waste. That will be your duty instead of killing you.
E-waste could be my rap name because my name starts with E.
Yo, let's hear. Can you spit some bars? Give him a beat, Scott. Go, Emily, go.
I'm trying to think if I know any. Mom, spaghetti. Arms
God,
heavy.
you're the worst. They just, every time I give you a chance to do like something.
To really shine.
Yeah.
I have to reveal. I was just thinking about this, and I want your side of it. If I was in the Matrix and the robots take over, good. I don't want to be out of it. I don't want to know I'm in a goo tube. Good. Let me be in there having fun.
Like, don't worry, darling. Most inconclusive movie ever. Counterpoint, you are in the Matrix right now, and your Matrix living hell is being afraid of robots. Knowing they will actually never take over, but your perpetual hell is what if, therefore, I should always be kind to these robots.
It takes so much out of me to be polite.
I'm like the William Wallace of the robot world. Just freedom. I don't fucking care.
Do you want to be out of the goo tube? No. All right, let's do a confession.
That was it. Okay.
These are my confessions.
Hi, Liza and Emily. I have a confession I've never told anyone. My husband has had a strained relationship with his father. When I met my husband and he was my boyfriend, he and his father didn't even speak. His father didn't have a relationship with his other 3 siblings either. At the time, I couldn't understand not having a relationship with your parent, and I pushed him to reach out to him and to repair that relationship. In the short time I knew his father, he would make me upset every time I had to interact with him. He would make so-called jokes at my expense, if you could call them jokes, poking fun about the way I decorate my house, or comments about my domestic role as a dishwasher, or some strange comment about washing clothes in a creek and hanging them up to dry. I didn't really get his jokes, but always felt like he's trying to make me know my place. One time I was 2 weeks postpartum. We went to visit my in-laws for a barbecue. My first time being out of the house since giving birth. My husband's father walked up to me, didn't say, "Hi, how are you? Congratulations." His first words to me were to tell me he co-signed for my husband's new truck, and he wanted to make sure I know I'm not allowed to drive it. I could not stop crying for the next hour, and he never apologized or explained he was joking. I found out years later that he never did co-sign for my husband's truck. I can only guess that was his idea of a joke.
Fuck your husband. What do you mean years later? Why wasn't your husband like, that's not true? Your husband's complicit.
Anyway, just want you to know how icky this man was. To make matters worse, he was remarried to an equally awful woman. We'll call her Yzma. Do you know who that is?
Yzma. Yeah. Remembers New Groove.
After losing my second born,
best.
having a stillborn, they came to visit. I really think I transitioned that well, and brought a small gift. Yzma then made a comment about me losing my baby, saying that I was working too hard.
Oh my God.
I just think it's a class act to blame a grieving mother for losing a baby. It's important I shed a little light on who these people are so you can understand why I did what I did.
Oh, I cannot wait. What did you do?
Later that same year, we had a falling out because we had too many families to split Christmas between, and they fell to the bottom of our list. We said we could do the day after Christmas. Yzma wouldn't have it. She threw a fit and cut off contact for 6 months.
But isn't that so weird? Just real quick, when like people like clearly don't care or like you, and they're like, but I need to spend Christmas with you.
What, to bully?
Which means you don't realize how shitty you are. And you're like, why don't you want to hang out with me and my weird pointy boobs that are down by my belly button and my hot boyfriend?
The next time she reached out was to tell us my husband's father was dying of lung cancer and he didn't want to see any of his 4 children.
Great.
My husband went to the hospital anyway and sure enough wasn't allowed to see him. His father passed away. Yzma reached out to me on Facebook letting me know she has some of her late husband's things to give to my husband. She left it on her porch. I picked it up and we went through it, a few photos and a plaque, but 99% of it was garbage. Monogram bags.
Like best dad ever, like employee of the, like a plaque.
Employee of the week. Monogram bags and hats from his employer, meaningless pins they give you for working for a company for a number of years. Everything reeked of cigarettes. Felt like an added insult that Yzma gave us worthless things she didn't want to throw away.
Okay, I'm waiting for the good part.
Aside from a couple of pictures, a plaque of my husband's Little League baseball team.
Oh, your dad kept it. Or he didn't know he had it.
I think the latter, but yeah.
He's like, I use it as an ashtray.
On to my confession, a few more months go by. Yzma reaches out to me on Facebook again. She says she has a few more of her late husband's things for me to pick up. This time I had enough. I told her she could keep her worthless garbage and never speak to us again, and then I blocked her. I never told my husband. It feels good to also mention that that her 2 biological children want nothing to do with her either. I hate her for her role in keeping my husband from his father on his deathbed, and now I imagine her living with the regret she deserves for the karma she has sowed. What I do feel awful for is never telling my husband there were more things of his father's he was supposed to get. I suspect it was just more garbage, but I should have given him the choice to decide if he wanted it. I live with the knowledge that I'll never tell him, not because I'm protecting myself, but because it won't change anything, it would only hurt him. I hope this doesn't make me evil, but in the moment, I felt it was right. You're so fine.
You're fine. You're fine.
But I think this confession is really emblematic of like how Yzma does not care at all, and this person has so much guilt about not putting up with more abuse.
I also will say, just in terms of like, Yzma's awful, but we're like, she kept my husband from his father on his deathbed. It's like, no, your father did. The father did not want to see it. And the father was awful and he married someone awful. She was following suit. So they're both equally to blame. They're awful. They're together because they're both awful. The father obviously had some like mental illness. It doesn't take away from the fact that like at one point this was his dad, and maybe before that like brain eating fungus took over and made him weird. The dad, you can't, these are still your parents, but you don't have to worry about that at all. To quote Emily, you're fine. And I bet you like a lot of that stuff your husband threw out anyway, because like, what are you supposed to, it's weird to hold up your like Little League plaque. So your dad has the couple good memories and the rest of the time's been fucking awful. You don't have to feel bad. Your husband probably would be like, yeah, I didn't want to go over there anyway. If you really want to double down, write her a letter and take out all your ire and be like, here's why you're the fucking worst. I just wanted to resurface, post it on Facebook so everyone can like it.
Not now that she's blocked her. She's done with it now.
No, go back. Let retribution ring. It is amazing. And we get a lot of questions about like Facebook and social media. It is amazing when you block someone or unfollow how they just kind of don't exist. Like, unless this is your neighbor, like, you don't have to see them. You don't have to keep up with them. Good for you. I don't like the term protect your peace. I don't like the psychological ification of like all the terms that we use, but like you don't need it. You don't need to sign up for more of this. You don't need some weird misogynist voice in the back of your head. And you don't need his weird paramour making you feel shitty day to day. Good for you. I know you're not asking advice, but good for you. Never tell your husband. It doesn't matter. You were owed that. You were owed that block after all she said and did, both of them.
It was 100% just gonna be a box of like raccoon carcasses. So
I still want to go back to the truck thing. If your husband knew they were awful, unless he's complicit, why wouldn't he be like, you didn't sign, or let you know like an hour later, like that's not true? Why was it years later?
You
need to get a better grip
for an hour.
You need to get a grip on those finances and what's going on in your house with that husband. Remember, it's still that father's son. So be careful.
Woman trapped amongst men. Dear Iliza and Emily, I
feel it. Oh, grad student? Shocker.
Grad student, 23, female, not in nursing, quite the opposite.
I kill people. Looking into ways to kill people unethically.
If somebody wants to confess they did a murder, it would make for a really good pod. We would report you, but we would also read it on the episode. So
no, as a doctor, I have a patient-client privilege as a lawyer doctor. I'm not going to tell anybody. You can tell me.
Starting from mathematical high school, I went through my bachelor's in nuclear and particle physics, and now I'm doing a master's in interdisciplinary physics. I am stating all this to point out that most of my life I spent in male-dominated collectives. In fact, almost every semester I have at least one course where I am the only woman. And during my research work, I have met even fewer women than at the university. This has never been a problem on its own since I'm used to it. I have a group of close female friends from high school, but none of us live in the same country. We're in Europe, so we meet only a few times a year. Other than that, the vast majority of my good friends have always been men because, well, the vast majority of people I interact with during the day are men. And now the problem. It is not unusual that someone new I meet mistakes my friendliness for something more, and I repeatedly end up in situations where they're trying to convince me to date them. And upon my rejection, I always get this, quote, well-meant advice that I should make it clear from the beginning. Then they, of course, stop talking to me and act angry or unforgivably hurt. However, since most of my friends are men, I find it ridiculous to assume they all want to date me and started introducing myself as, hi, I'm Tammy, and I'm not interested in dating you, especially in a work setting such as a conference. How do I avoid these situations? I know that seeking women in the field is one of the options, but sometimes there aren't any, or we simply don't click. Or how do I deal with them? I don't think I'm doing something directly wrong, but it always makes me feel sad and guilty for at least a couple days. For additional context on me, I'm straight, currently do not have a boyfriend, nor am I looking for one, but I am definitely not bad looking. Also, according to people who are not in STEM, so they had a larger statistical sample.
Oh my God.
I was even approached by a modeling agent out of nowhere on the street. I often travel for my studies and research work, and this has happened to me 10 plus times.
Getting approached by a modeling agent 10 plus times?
Men.
Oh, I was like, me too. It's so hard.
Thank you so much for all the fantastic work you put into this weekly hour of escape. Iliza, looking forward to see you again live when you come to Europe. And even though it is against the email rules, I will use it with literal meaning. Yours faithfully, not that I was a native speaker, but I should have used sincerely, Tammy.
I like when people like come to Europe. I'm like, just anywhere? Because I'll be in Eastern Europe.
She's going to see you. She said to see you in Europe live.
Which country?
They're not doxing themselves.
You know where we got to get a ticket bump is in Bucharest.
Head over to Bucharest.
Turns out that's the place. Yeah. Romania. The breadbasket of Europe. You have one choice you can make. You could have a fake boyfriend. I know that's shitty.
He lives in a different country. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's all like, you don't have to get too much into it, but like, I know nobody is going to agree with that advice, but men will always shoot their shot, and men will often be bitter when rejected. Women have to take rejection, and we're not allowed to be upset about it because then we're crazy. And men are allowed to kick and scream and be whiny. Bad men, and especially young men. They're like, what do you mean? Of course you're going to want me. But I do understand the, well, don't give me hope thing. And I think as a 23-year-old girl, other feminists will riot at this. Like, you shouldn't have to curtail anything. This isn't about that as much as being aware of societal expectations. So, like, you can wear a short skirt. You can get drunk and be flirty. There's nothing wrong with that, but you should always be mindful of the way other people will interpret that if you want to stay safe. It's not about not doing it. It's about just knowing that shitty people are out there. Now they're going to do shitty things regardless, but it's about mitigating that. So when I say that, first of all, it sucks that you can't hang out one-on-one, but maybe it's always in a group setting. That way no one feels like you're on a date. Always being like, yeah, if some guy asks you, be like, yeah, should I also call Kirk and Heinrich? Kirk Heinrich's a basketball player. Should I also call Sven and Svalbard and all these people? I think just mindful of that. Now, you could have done nothing flirty, and guys will still think it's flirty, but there are always things you can do, because you get girls all the time that are like, yeah, we were just like hanging out, like at night we were drinking, and it's like, it does give off a vibe. And I think back at times in my life, if I have to be honest, where I was like, yeah, we're just best friends. And it's like, no, he was hoping that something more would happen. And I'm like, really? Because I'm more successful than him, and I'm a great comic, and he's a great comic. Like, we're right there. It's like, no, they were hanging out with you till 3 a.m. Like, they were hoping. That's just sort of the way guys are. So I think keep those things in mind. Are you asking to go to like a late dinner with these guys, like with a guy? Are you drinking till late? It's not about you doing anything wrong, but it's about the way these things are perceived. That's all.
It is really hard because you're saying you don't see any women in your classes, so they're not seeing any women in these. They're not seeing any other women. You are the only woman, and you are being even passively friendly. They're just like, oh my God. Like, I'm in college, this very, very attractive man invited me to go to the football game together. And I met him there. He brought me a poncho. It was raining, and he brought us to our seats, and he was there with 6 other women. And I was like, oh.
So I do think there is something to be said for making it always a group thing.
Mm-hmm. Because I immediately was like, oh, got it.
Right. And it's tough. They're going to get mad at you. They're going to get mad. What's going to happen is I don't know why I'm assuming you're drinking, but it's Europe, so you guys are like much cooler about this. You're going to all go out. You're going to get drunk. You're going to talk to a guy, and one of those dorks is going to get like dork angry at you. It's really hard. I'm not saying that there's an easy solution. Is there a version where you befriend like the ugliest one that's like grateful that you're even talking to them?
Not that one. Bringing up not even a fake boyfriend, but just like mentioning other men, I think is kind of the way. Sometimes I will talk about like my friend George. If a guy is, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. I'm playing Fortnite with George. Bye. They don't know. They don't know.
They know you're real dorky, but they don't know.
Yeah.
But it's also tough because even if you say those things, like they kind of don't hear them. You're like, yeah, I'm not looking for a boyfriend. It's like, great. Well, when she is, I'll be there.
Exactly. Or when like I'm laying the groundwork.
So other than lying about the boyfriend, even in that case, they're like, well, he's not here. Who cares? It's just a lonely thing you're going to have to go through. It is not fun being attractive and smart and good at what you do. But I can promise you this. It will not last forever. And please don't let this ever let you lose sight, not that you are, of your goal and why you are there getting the degree that you're getting.
Well, it's already doing the research. Yeah, like in it.
You're in it and that's your priority. And great, you guys want to all go get a drink out. I'll be there always. Like, you can be social about it, texting people, leave before the party's over. Like, if you're not in the way that a guy who's not attracted to women would behave, friendly, but like you're leaving. You've got better things to do. I get it. I really do. It's only temporary. And if you're saying it's this bad, then these are just you're just going to have to be mindful of it. Knowing that you will be faulted no matter what you do.
Yeah. What I love about this person, why I think that they get it, is that they said that they asked people not in STEM if they were hot too. Like, they're not just hot for STEM, they're hot for the earth, which is good context for us to have. Those guys in STEM are like full, like, awooga, like coyote eyeball, like, whoa, not just a lady, a hot lady.
A real true hot lady. Are there other women in the college, in the environment, or you could like post something and be like, hey, girls night out in STEM, girls night out at this. Like, you might have to just go beyond the people in your department. And I get it. When you're in school, you kind of only hang out with those people. Like, I don't remember anyone who was not in a sketch comedy troupe the year I graduated from Emerson, because that was all that I did. Not to say that you and I are exactly alike, but we sort of are. You might have to just look a little bit harder. And the truth is, you're right. Just because you're a girl doesn't mean you're going to like the other girls. It doesn't mean they're going to like you. So that's it. Do your absolute best to make sure it's platonic. And if they're saying you're giving them the wrong impression, I bet you they're not always wrong. It doesn't mean they're always right just because you smiled. And a lot of times men do misinterpret that. But if you're getting that feedback, maybe it is like, yeah, that you did come drink in my dorm room till 3 a.m. Like, yeah, we're not buddies.
I think it's not anyone's fault, but there are definitely people that I know that are just naturally flirty with everyone. I think flirty is even the wrong word to ascribe to it, but I could see how it could be seen that way because they're just so solicitous. I mean, they have that like Tom Cruise thing of like where you hear that when you're in the room with him, you feel like you're the only person there. You might just be very charismatic and be good at making people feel seen and heard. And unfortunately, that's very attractive.
I mean, there's also, look, I don't want to reduce men down to being jerks. There are men who will just be your friends that are also very focused. I would befriend the dorkiest one there. You can have like, I've definitely, look, if I look back at all the times I've been friends with like groups of guys, dorky, not dorky, in my film program, whatever. Of course, you're men, so you're always probably going to want to have sex with someone. But like, there were plenty of times like everything was fine and we all just hung out. You are entitled to have a friend group and have a congenial experience. So keep it group setting. Don't put yourself in a situation where it's weird. And that's it. And you can always talk, like, you don't have to cater to them. Like, I'm not looking for a boyfriend. But if it gets to be like a sexual conversation, like, you don't want to fuck these guys and you don't want to know how they fuck. So just remove yourself from it. Like, just keep it, like, just, it's tough because then you get called ice cold. You just kind of can't worry about it. Look for the good ones and be friends with those and avoid the other ones like the plague. I'm sorry. It's only temporary.
Yeah.
And, oh, you know what? I didn't love the book. They made it into a TV show. It's about the woman who's like the brilliant physicist that goes on to have like a home cooking show. Lessons in Chemistry. That's you. Read that book. It's a lot about boating. And I was just like, oh my God, snore. Read that book because it's about you.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We have one that comes with pictures, but I'm going to read you and then I'll forward you so you can see the people.
Okay.
Greetings, Iliza. My name is Leslie, 28, female in marketing. In summary, I've been in a loving relationship for 3 years with my fiance. Let's call him my fiance, 36, male. We're cruising through good times right now, enjoying our relationship. No special wedding date planned. We're simply enjoying our engagement before we lock it down. We're in a wonderful place, but as relationships go, it hasn't always been smooth sailing. My relationship and why I chose my partner in the first place, I've been with a lot of duds. And my fiance is nothing like them. When he sees dishes in the sink, he does them. Laundry full, he does the laundry like an adult. What a concept. He brings me flowers regularly, respects me, considers my opinion, asks for my opinion, makes me laugh, makes me emotional, goes out of his way to plan dates. And the best part, he doesn't do these things with expectation. He does them because he wants to. This is critical to me. But do my friends see this? They do not. All they know is what I've told them in the past about our issues, and I made the grave mistake of letting my friends in on my relationship struggles back when we weren't doing so hot. For context, my wonderful friend group consists of over 7 girly pops.
Ew, don't say girly pop.
Almost all of us bisexual, feminist, lavender baddies. Are people too young now? And I don't know what they're talking about.
What is lavender?
I don't know.
What, look
I'm
it
gonna
up?
Google bisexual, feminist, lavender.
Text a lesbian. Text a lesbian and ask.
Lavender Menace was a lesbian feminist activity group, so maybe it's some sort of feminist thing. We sound old now. There are 3 girls in particular who I've gotten really close with. Close enough that we've shared our relationship struggles with one another. We'll call them Strawberry, Blueberry, and Orange. They're extremely caring, thoughtful, and everything I want in a friend group, but they would love nothing more than to see me dump my fiance.
It's because they're lesbians. I don't like them.
I'm going to send you a pic. You know what? I'll show you the pictures now, and you just...
Okay.
They have told me before, and they make it well known they want to see me dump my fiance, which makes me feel awful since my fiance and I are working through our issues and communicating better. So the struggles. My fiance and I have struggled with 2 major issues over the last year and a half. Intimacy. It's not what you think. To put it plainly, we are both heavy on consent and have a hard time asking for sex. Therefore, sex does not happen.
I don't think that's not, sorry. We're both heavy on consent.
And have a hard time asking.
I don't think those two have anything to do with each other. And that means you've rejected him a lot. And so he doesn't want to ask for it. And you're maybe attracted to women. And so you're like, I'm hoping he'll initiate this because I don't want to do it. Okay.
This year we started working on communication around sex and intimacy, and we're back on track. Health. Me and my fiance both struggle in this area, but the difference is he is more heavy set than I am. It is not lost on me that I am smaller than him, and I get told often by my friends that I look way too good for him. This really bothers me because looks don't matter to me as long as I'm being treated right. My dad passed away when I was 23 from cardiac arrest, and I don't want to lose another loved one due to careless health mistakes. I've communicated this to my fiance, and we're back on track with healthy eating and exercising. Last summer, I let my friends in on these two issues when my relationship wasn't doing well. I felt like I needed their support and I couldn't afford therapy. I was drinking with them at the time and brutally went into detail, airing out all my relationship grievances. Since then, they've been trying to support me by telling me I should dump him, offering me a place to stay if I leave him, and telling me no man is worth staying in a relationship with over these issues. While I agree that these issues are important, I also think this relationship is worth fighting for. They have made it well known they don't like him. My fiance planned my birthday party for me back in January, invited all my friends. Blueberry brought Valentine's Day cards for everyone. My fiance got one with a donkey on the front, and then in parentheses, jackass. Anytime I bring my fiance's name up to the group to try to do some damage control, it's met with eye rolls, or Strawberry and Orange look at one another and smirk. I can see it clear as day. When Strawberry was having issues with her boyfriend, I talked to her over brunch about it. I heard her out, told her about my fiance and I working through our issues. What did she get from that conversation? That she didn't think her man was worth it to work through their issues, so she immediately called him and dumped him. In summary, my girlfriends are my age and in their early 20s. Blueberry's engaged, and her man is far from perfect. Blueberry and Strawberry both have a hard time tolerating men. They have been in and out of relationships and have zero toleration for anything less than they deserve. And while I respect them for it, I also believe in fighting for a relationship. I think this could turn into a happy, lifelong marriage. I feel stuck. Do I sit down and have the hard conversation with them when they bring up how my fiance and I are doing? Do I shut it down and change the subject? Has anything like this happened to you before, Iliza or Emily? What would you do if you were in my shoes? P.S. Been a strong listener of the pod since 2022, but I've been around since Iliza's Freezing Hot Netflix special. You both are a dynamic duo together. Also, Emily, I love your cat stories, and I have two felines of my own. Stay true, Pod Squad. Leslie.
Leslie, first of all, your standards are too low. And you're 27, so
28?
It's not okay. It's not a shocker that the men that you've dated prior were immature. That's not an indictment on young men, but like it's going to be really hard to find a guy that at like 28 is like loving doing dishes, okay? I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying your sample size is very small. You're dating someone who is markedly older than you. So he should be at 36, not only doing all those things, but very lucky to be with someone like you. But the things that you're telling me about him are like bare minimum things. And I say they're bare minimum because a lot of women on this pod are married to people who are beneath them are not great. Everything that you said, I was like, yeah, my husband does that. Yeah, my husband does that. So what I'm not hearing is anything exceptional about this person. You like him because he's treating you the way that you deserve to be treated. And that's great. And he's holding on to you because you're very pretty and you're young and you probably are all these things that do it for him, but I don't know that he does it for you. Intimacy should not be an issue this young, this early on in a relationship. I get that you're bisexual. It's okay to be that. It's okay to be attracted to men and women and you make your choices, whatever. Your friends are gay. I get that you're saying they're bisexual. Your friends do not like men. And I appreciate they might have sex with them, whatever. It doesn't matter. Your friends also probably want to fuck you.
This dude is bringing down the vibe. All these 80 bisexual lavender ladies, girly pops, and then he rolls up and he's 36. Like, get out of here, sir.
We don't want this old guy here. They don't like him and it wouldn't matter. And the truth is, the two things that you're talking about are totally forgivable things. You confided into your quote unquote best friends that you guys have an intimacy issue, which is no one's fault. It's not like he cheated on you. It's not like you did something. You're just having a miscommunication, which is fine. It's okay to have an intimacy issue or you guys don't totally align. And it's also good for women to talk about these things with women who are going through that. But these women aren't. They're out there fucking girls, hating dudes. So it was already a hostile person to admit that to. And the second thing is health. Me and my fiance both struggle in this area. He's heavier. Yes, that's a bummer, but like that's not something that I, as your girlfriend, would hold against this guy. It would be different. He had cheated on you. He's abusive. He's rude. He doesn't make time. He doesn't do any of those things. So these women are not liking him based off of things that are incredibly vulnerable and involve both of you.
Yeah.
These girls are not in it for your happiness.
No.
I also don't think this is the guy for you, but let's say this is. And let's say you have not been treated right and you think that this is it. You owe it to yourself. Let's say you do love this person and this is it. Let's pretend that that's it for a second. To sit down with them and be like, I confided stuff in you as girlfriends, and I think you guys are harsh on him. He has never said anything about you. He's never done anything but be kind. And this is the life I'm going to make. I want to keep everyone here, but I can't. This is too stressful for me. And I'll be like, oh my God, she's picking him over us. Maybe you are. But these girls feel barbed to me. This is not out of protection unless you told them something that you're not telling us. But this feels very young and sloppy. And that's all my opinions.
Yeah. I think that they were never going to like him. It didn't matter. He could suck though. I don't know. But
he might be lame and like older and like they don't want that vibe. And I get that.
And he
at
rolls
28,
up and he's like, hello, ladies. What's up with your taxes? And they're like, I'm named Strawberry.
I'm Strawberry. I'm getting fucking drunk. I'm kissing dudes and gals. And I'm 27. 36 is so ancient when you're 27. Like he's a bummer. And you're there. That's like the old boyfriend that's hanging out. He's fucking up the vibe. Yeah. They don't want him around. They don't want men around. And they want to go out drinking with you and like kiss you when they get drunk. And so he's crashing their party. That's what it comes down to. And you seem ready to leave the party because this is the first guy that's treated you like a person. I suggest you get a little bit more of a sample size in terms of who else can treat you nicely. But I don't like your friends. I don't like your fruit salad of friends.
Oh, no, they're out for themselves. The friends and the guy could suck or both could be good, but you just have to keep them apart. Like these friends are not going to support your relationships.
Stress. Yeah. You don't need to keep them apart. You need to choose one over the other. I suggest ditching both. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Just telling you, I've been 27. I get it. We all want to party. Nobody wants you to bring your dud of a boyfriend around that's like so sweet to you. But again, the things that he's doing while they're very sweet and kind, like those are like the bare minimum things you should be expecting from a grown man.
He didn't throw a dirty dish at my head.
Yeah, that'd be kind of hot. Okay.
All right, Cobbs.
Taste the top with a cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Bottom
of the cob. Is that I can't let things go. And if I have a bad interaction, even a menial one, like a weird, like if the gate agent tells me that I can't stand where I'm standing and I have to take a seat, like I will hold on to that energy rather than chalking it up to like the ephemeral experience that it was. And I'll be positive that person is also holding a grudge, even though they're at work. And like, I will think about it like the whole flight. I will think if I have a weird interaction with another passenger, like I just hold on to things, assuming the other person is like ready to also fight. And it's a bad quality, but like if we're at a restaurant and someone's rude or weird, I'm like, they're probably thinking about that the whole time. And now it's like a weird thing between us. This person probably isn't thinking about it. I hold on to things and it inhibits my happiness.
Yeah, mine, I feel like I've talked about this before, but it bears repeating because every time I'm shocked, it's so maddening. I get so mad at myself when I'm in such a bad mood and I'm just so mad at everyone. And I'm like, why is this going bad? What is this? What is this person asking me? And then your period starts. You're like, oh.
You're like, oh, I can't be trusted. But it is like literally the second you get it, you're like, oh, that's what that was.
Right.
And you never learn.
No.
Never learn.
Then I'm just like despondent again the next month. Like, oh, what's happened? And I'm like, oh, right. Okay. All right.
Even when I do know, I'm like, this feels so real though. Oh,
yeah.
That's why I was anxious while eating ice cream. God.
Right. It's tough.
Okay.
Fan bottom. Hey, lovelies. This is Gary on Long Island.
Hey, Gary.
And my bottom of the cob is when you open up that toothpaste after getting it home from the store, realizing it's a full twist-off cap and not a hinged cap. Like most of us, I only have two hands. # just saying.
Come on, Gary. It's up there with the atrocities of the world. It's up there with loss of human life. I never even thought about that.
If mine is, I guess mine is a hinge. And I guess, yeah, I mean, you don't, you twist it off and then you could lose it.
I never lose it, but it does go flying. You're like, I got to get this thing. It never goes on the first time.
So
Gary, that's why we created bottom of the cobs.
Yeah.
Top of the cob.
Top of the cob.
My top of the cob is having a connected friend with money who's action oriented. I was in New York last week and my friend Jolie, who is like publicist maven, like about town, like fucking goes to Davos, like baller. we always make time to see each other. She has a driver. She has like this royal blue Range Rover. And she's like, I'll just have the driver pick us up. And there's tons of stuff in the car if you need a mint or you need to warm your hands or you need water, just stuff. And I was having a really bad day and she let me come and cry in her office where her assistant brought me water and there was a snack bar of candy. It's like the high-powered friend we all want, like a Samantha Jones, but less sexually weird. And she's a mom with 2 kids and she has her own business. And I hate the word badass, but she is. And then after the show, she took me to this like members only club called Chez Margot. And it was like everything you want out of a nocturnal members only gorgeous New York exclusive club. And she just like made the reservation on her phone. She's like, you've got your guest pass. I had like one time I was like, oh my God, I'm having an issue with this hotel. She's like, I'll just grab your room. And I just paid her back. She's like, I got it. I got you. Like unbothered by everything. Problem solver, action oriented. I'll just book it. I'll just do it. Here's what we'll do. And it's the way to be. And I just feel so cozy in her presence. So shout out to you, Jolie Hunt Potter. You're my
Does
top
she
of the
listen?
cob. No, but I'm going to send this to her.
You can clip it out. All right. Fan top of the cob. I finally decided to leave my racist, sexist husband.
Hey.
Together for 10 years, married for 3 with a 1.5-year-old. I don't know how we got here, but sometime in the last 5 years, he was brainwashed by the alt-right. He is absolutely off his rocker. We've been trying to find a way to continue for over a year now, but I am done. I'm the breadwinner. Don't worry. I'll be fine.
Love it.
Yeah.
She's like, I got this bread.
My top is that I kind of always knew this, but it clicked in the last week that my dining table, my kitchen table, the middle is a lazy Susan. And it clicked in because Rizzoli was on my table and suddenly slid. And it was very funny that the table just went out from under him and he was fine. So it was like watching a little Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah, he's a cat.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Free lazy Susan.
I will say when I had a cat and then I got a dog, I had to adjust that you can't just throw a dog and it'll land. Like cats will just land, a dog will go thud.
Right.
So will a baby. So will a baby. Folks, keep your questions coming right into the pod at Ask Iliza Podcast. I don't know why it's that. AskElizaPodcast.com. You can also
gmail.com.
AskElizaPodcast@gmail.com. Send us those follow-ups, send us affirmations, and send your questions. You can also send them in on the Instagram, right? Ask Iliza anything.
Yeah, and the email's there too. You can do it on the Patreon. Don't do it on Twitter anymore. I'm not going there.
No one's looking there, but hopefully these things are all linked in the show notes. And this is coming out next Wednesday. So you still have time to come see me in Tampa, Orlando, and Hollywood, Florida. And then I'm going to take a nice long break. And then I will see you in the fall, Eastern Europe. But we got a lot of pod before then. Thanks. Thanks so much.